basically, I'm the founder of TomTom. You probably know TomTom. We are the inventors of SatNav. We are the people who save marriages and people who millions apparently. And I hope you listen to Jane when you're in your car. But anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the entrepreneurial journey. How did we go from a company starting with 4 people, 4 founders, still happily running the company today? We started 25 years ago. And also some of the technologies we have scaled. So I just take you with me along that entrepreneurial journey. So we all came from a very entrepreneurial British company, actually, which some of you may remember, called Scion. The young students in this audience probably not. You were not born when I started working at Scion. But basically, this was tech at its best. This was, the UK was extremely creative, late 80s, early 90s, before Silicon Valley and the US starting dominating the tech scene. I'd like to remind you that actually the UK was very good at it. And it's a shame that we need to keep on going and keep on scaling. But anyway, Scion had a lot of spin-off, to be honest, and a lot of people working at Scion, a lot of the innovation just spinned off into other industries. We were making at TomTom, we started with 4 people, and we're starting our life making meter reading software for B2B. Super exciting. No, not really. No, so the issue was more that there are as many electricity boards in the world. And we thought, well, wouldn't it be really cool if we could make software for B2C? And of course, we knew how to develop for small form factor. We knew how to develop for Scion Time product and then Palm Pilot and iPacs. And we started making a B2C application until we came across navigation. And we thought, well, you know, navigation at the time was, everybody thought would come through the car. It was obvious, you know, car, navigation, it was going to come through the car, without thinking that actually you have an established car park of about 500 million cars worldwide, and only 8% of those are new cars, which means that there is an awful lot of people who would love to have actually satellite navigation. And we started looking at this idea, we honed the idea on starting making software on PDAs, and by that time we're a company of about 25 people, headquartered in Amsterdam. And we could see there was something there. This navigation software was selling more than anything else we'd done. And we said, we're a software company, but we're going to make hardware. We're going to make a box that you can buy in Dixon, you can put on your windscreen, and you can drive home. And we're going to democratize satellite navigation. We're just going to make it easy for you to drive home. So we went, you know, as you do, even in those days, go to investors, and everybody said, you're out of your mind. This is never going to work. I said, all right. So they went to the map makers, and they were not scared of us because they thought this is never going to work. Anyway, the rest is history. We actually remortgaged everything we had, put our own money in, and decided to give it a good go. And we called our friends from Scion, who knew how to make hardware, who had the contact with the ODMs in China, and we went with our plan and our idea and said, well, we'd like to make this little box, which some of you may remember, the first iconic TomTom Go. The first year, we're selling 200,000 units, and then we were selling 1 million units a year, 1 million units a week, and all the joys of Black Friday, 1 million units a day. Those were the days, and that's scaling. We all of a sudden go from a company of 4 to 20, from a turnover of about 40 million to 40 to 1.8 billion in 5 years, from 24 people to 2,500, 3,000 people in the same time. It's scary. It's like driving a Ferrari at very high speed along a cliff. So the intuition tells you that you have a good idea, and then everything is in the execution. The idea is just not enough. It's putting a team together, it's putting the system, it's putting the processes, and make sure you get it right. In our case also, we wanted to build a brand. It's important to build a brand to protect yourself, which happened to be a good decision. 2 years later, there were 472 brands of SatNav who decided to come to the market. But that time, we had the first mover advantage. Software is actually quite difficult to replicate, and we were doing well. it has been a long process. It was really hard, and I think why we did well is had a very close team of people, and very early on realized some of the deficiencies we had and brought a lot of good people on board and scaled really fast. We went global, we brought a lot more engineers. Anyway, it was a real roller coaster. But we knew this was not going to last forever. And when today I hear startup where the only you know, I was again at the FT Innovate yesterday, and those young guys and girls, I mean, some of you students, you like it, and you think, well, I'm looking at the exit. We never looked at the exit. The exit was not our goal. Our goal was to make super nice product that people will use and have good time and fun enjoying it. So we knew that sat-nav at some point would come through the car, and we wanted to improve that experience even further. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool? Now I think we probably invented big data before it was called that. We get 1 billion GPS traces every hour of every day. We know exactly the average speed on every road in the world. We can remap the whole world with our GPS traces. So, well, that's cool. Now, if we had the base map and we could put this data on top, talk about scaling, we could just predict real-time driving. Real-time maps. We can tell you exactly the base map, what's happening in real time, process that, validate, and broadcast. So this is what we did. We went to buy our map maker, TeleAtlas. That was in 2000, just after we went public in 2006, 2007, with this idea in mind. It was not scaling the company, it was scaling the technology. At that time, if you want to do map, it's a very labor-intensive process. You've got MoMA vans going around and mapping the roads. And we thought with the technology, we can actually scale that. We can make map, real-time map, at a very low cost if we can get that right. And guess what? That's exactly what highly automated driving and autonomous driving, the technology that is going to be, after health tech, the biggest revolution in transport is going to be, which is going to be highly automated and autonomous driving. And TomTom is very well placed today to be one of the technology enabler for what is going to be this next big, massive revolution. So we scale the company, we scale the technology, we keep going. The founders are still running the company, and I think that's also one thing is innovation is about taking risk. Yeah, you can't, if you're not prepared to take risks, you can't innovate, because by definition, if you innovate, you do something that's not been done before. So in our case, 25 years later, we still have the same smile most days. It's been tough. If you guys who want to be entrepreneurs, it's not plain sailing, but it's fun. If you get it right, it's fun, and also it's the idea that you do something different, the idea that you make a difference to the world, the idea that you can play a good role, and that's really what excites me anyway and makes me get out of bed every day. So we're going to play a big role now with scaling our traffic information and our map data, and we're going to be in the cars of the future. So petrol heads among you, enjoy your cars. They're going to go. It's going to be all electric. It's going to be safe for the environment, but a lot less fun than, you know. But anyway, it's going to be good for everyone. Thank you.